Hey guys, let us talk about last night's episode of The Originals. So the basic premise of this episode is that Genevieve and Celeste have Klaus and Rebekah held captive, and they're basically kind of torturing the heck out of them. Meanwhile, Elijah, Marcel, and Haley are working their hardest to try to find them. For a couple of episodes now, we've really been wanting to get the backstory of why it is exactly that Genevieve has this kind of like vendetta against Rebekah. And I must say, after learning why it is that Genevieve hates Rebekah, I'm on Team Genevieve because Rebekah did some kind of dastardly crap to this woman in her past. Genevieve's goal is to basically reveal to Klaus how Rebekah and Marcel betrayed him years ago. We get that Rebekah and Marcel wanted to be together. They didn't think Klaus was going to allow that. And so they decide they're just going to get rid of Klaus. And the way to do that is to call in their dad, to call in Michael. And so they use Genevieve the witch to do that. Rebekah kind of tricks her. She pretends to be her friend so that she can get Genevieve to do the spell. The kicker for Genevieve though is that Rebekah ends up killing her because she doesn't want anyone to know what she's done. So she basically infects her. Like the two of them were working at a hospital back in the day, and I can't remember what disease people had, like polio or cholera or something. But Rebekah pretty much infects her and lets her die, like compels the orderlies to quarantine her and one of the other nurses off in the corner of a hospital, and the two of them die this horrible death. Really, Rebekah? Really? Like that's how you used to roll? Because that is not very nice at all. So yeah, I totally got where Genevieve's, evil, dastardly revenge plan came from, because that was kind of foul. Am I the only one that was kind of like, I don't know, I just felt like Klaus overreacts so much, you guys. And I kind of felt like this big secret was a little anticlimactic. But, I mean, I guess he was so upset because they weren't just calling Michael to town to get rid of Klaus, like to run him away. Michael was trying to kill Klaus, so they wanted to end him like for real. So I think that's where the real betrayal comes in. And then Genevieve kind of called it out as well, because we all know that Klaus's big thing is that he doesn't want any of his siblings to love anyone more than they love him. And for Rebekah and Marcel, obviously, Klaus wants all of their love for himself. And so the fact that they want to love each other, like he's not feeling that. Probably one of my favorite scenes, you guys, was towards the end when Klaus realizes what Rebekah's done and they let Klaus loose, because the whole plan amongst the witches, right, is to create this dissension in the Michelson rank. So Genevieve lets Klaus go knowing that he's going to go find Rebekah. She gives him that knife that was cursed by Papa Tunde that basically is gonna mean like years and years of torture for Rebekah. So Klaus finds her, tells her like, look, I'm not gonna dagger you, but I'm gonna stab you in the heart with this knife, and it's gonna be way worse than being daggered would ever be. And Rebekah fights back. I mean, they had like a knockdown, drag out. I mean, they were tossing each other around like sacks of flour. It was kind of crazy. And Elijah shows up at the last minute, right when you get that Klaus is really gonna stab Rebekah in the heart. And Elijah ends up using the knife on Klaus to kind of slow him down. Marcel is there, of course, because Klaus is planning to kill both of them. And Elijah tells them to run. He tells them like, look, this is your chance. Run as far and as fast as you can. So yeah, you guys, I would love to hear what you guys thought about this whole storyline. Genevieve, Rebekah, and even Klaus and his feelings of betrayal. I mean, part of me gets how everyone is feeling, but at the same time, I just feel like I have so much sympathy for Rebekah. Now, I don't agree with what she did to Genevieve. I mean, that was kind of crappy. That was really crappy. But at the same time, I always feel like I've got a soft spot in my little human heart for her. So yeah, I don't know. I would love to hear what you guys thought about all of that. The other thing I would mention from this episode is they kind of dropped this tiny hint that perhaps Celeste / Sabine could undo the spell on the werewolves that are a part of Haley's family. We pretty much see Haley knock her over the head, so I'm sure next week we're gonna see her tied up somewhere and they're gonna have a little discussion. Yeah, you guys, it was a good episode. It did feel a little bit like filler to me. Even though we had this kind of big secret reveal, they dragged it out a little bit to me. I mean, I liked seeing the flashbacks. I mean, because Rebekah's hair looked fantastic in the flashbacks. I just want to throw that out there. But overall, it just felt a little fillery to me. Don't get me wrong, it was good filler. I mean, like, if all TV show fillers were like this episode, then the world would be a better place. But I'm hoping the storyline's gonna move a little more forward next week. Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. Okay, guys, that is it for me. Do not forget to tell me your thoughts on this week's episode down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys again really, really soon. Bye-bye.